stanza of the history song we just sang tells us 5 truths about God and history. Number 1, history has a beginning and an end. Number 2, God is sovereign over all historical events. Number 3, we are limited in our understanding of why and how God allows certain events in history. Number 4, all events of history bring God glory. Number 5, history is the story of the redeeming love of God shown through the work of Christ.
One of the most exciting subjects of our history is the American War for Independence, in which the American colonial soldiers, known as the Continentals, battled the British soldiers known as Redcoats. In anticipation of our study of the War for Independence, we have memorized a fierce battle poem called The Old Continentals by Guy Humphrey McMaster.
In 5th grade, we are learning that poetry can paint pictures in our minds using figures of speech like similes, metaphors, alliteration, and personification. For example, in the poem we are about to recite, listen for similes describing cannon shot falling like hail, or metaphors in which bullets are described as rifle breath. Listen for ancient symbols of the British people, like the lion and unicorn, or the English patron, St. George. Also notice the use of special words called onomatopoeia that mimic the sound of a drum or the roar of a cannon.
One of the most exciting subjects of our history is the American War for Independence. Along with painting striking word pictures, poetry can set a mood with a musical rhythm or meter in which it is written. The Old Continentals we are about to recite will set a military mood in the disciplined rhyme scheme and distinct mechanical meter of the stanzas. See if the word pictures in the disciplined meter don't make you feel like you're on the battlefield yourself.
Now please listen carefully as we recite for you the battle poem, The Old Continentals.
Ragged regimentals stood the old Continentals yielding not. When the grenadiers were lunging and like hail fell the plunging cannon shot. When the files of the Isles from the smoky night encampment bore the banner of the rampant unicorn. And grummer, grummer, grummer rolled the roll of the drummer through the morn. Then with eyes to the frontal and with guns horizontal stood our sires. And the balls whistled deadly and in streams flashing red the blaze of fires. As the roar on the shore swept the strong battle breakers o'er the green-sodded acres of the plain. And louder, louder, louder cracked the black gunpowder cracking main. Now like Smiths at their forges worked the red St. George's cannoneers. And the villainous Saltpeter rung a fierce discordant meter round their ears. As the swift storm drift with hot, sweeping anger came the horse guards clangor on our flanks. And higher, higher, higher were the old-fashioned fire through the ranks. Then the old-fashioned colonel galloped through the white infernal powder cloud. And his broad sword was swinging, and his brazen throat was ringing trumpet loud. And the blue bullets flew, and the trooper jackets reddened at the touch of the leaden rifle breath. And rounder, rounder, rounder were the iron 6-pounder hurling death. The soldiers led Jesus away into the palace, that is the Praetorium, and called together the whole company of soldiers. They put a purple robe on him, then twisted together a crown of thorns and set it on him. And they began to call out to him, "Hail, King of the Jews!" Again and again they struck him on the head with a staff and spit on him. Falling on their knees, they paid homage to him. And when they had mocked him, they took off the purple robe and put his own clothes on him. Then they led him out to crucify him. A certain man from Cyrene, Simon, the father of Alexander and Rufus, was passing by on his way in from the country, and they forced him to carry the cross. They brought Jesus to the place called Golgotha, which means the place of the skull. Then they offered him wine mixed with myrrh, but he did not take it. And they crucified him. Dividing up his clothes, they cast lots to see what each would get. It was the 3rd hour when they crucified him. The written notice of the charge against him read, the King of the Jews. They crucified 2 robbers with him, one on his right and one on his left. And the scripture was fulfilled which says, he was counted with the lawless ones. Those who passed by hurled insults at him, shaking their heads and saying, so, you who are going to destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, come down from the cross and save yourself. In the same way, the chief priests and the teachers of the law mocked him among themselves. He saved others, they said, but he can't save himself. Let this Christ, this King of Israel, come down now from the cross that we may see and believe. Those crucified with him also heaped insults on him. At the 6th hour, darkness came over the whole land until the 9th hour. And at the 9th hour, Jesus cried out in a loud voice, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani, which means, my God, why have you forsaken me? When some of those standing near heard this, they said, listen, he's calling Elijah. One man ran, filled a sponge with wine and vinegar, put it on a stick, and offered it to Jesus to drink. Now leave him alone. Let's see if Elijah wants to take him down, he said. With a loud cry, Jesus breathed his last. The curtain of the temple was torn in 2 from top to bottom. And when the centurion, who stood there in front of Jesus, heard his cry and saw how he died, he said, surely this man was the Son of God. Mark 15:16-39.
Wars will come and go through history, yet there is no historical event of greater significance than the crucifixion and resurrection of Christ. And we are thankful to have had the opportunity to study it in our 5th grade year. We are excited you came to see us today and encourage you to join with us to celebrate the Easter holiday. Thank you for letting us show you some of what we've done here in school.